Alright, so the first step to taking off your front bumper is jack up your car, and then you're going to have to pop 3 tabs out. There's going to be one up here that's missing on mine, one right there, one down there, and then there's going to be a screw that goes in right here that's missing on mine also. So to get these tabs out, all you have to do is pop them out with a flathead screwdriver. So there's that one. And then this one down here. If this one got put in sideways, it's going to be kind of a pain. You can always twist it so it's easier for you to get your flathead in and pop it out. And I don't know why mine are being such a pain, but usually they just kind of pop right out. Bam. Now that you have those clips out, set them to the side, grab your 10 mil. There's going to be 2 bolts underneath the car down here that hold it on. You'll just want to take those out. You shouldn't have to loosen them very far before they come out by hand. And then after these 2 are out by hand, you'll go around the bottom and take out all these. There's going to be a few. Alright guys, so after you have all the bolts out, you can go ahead and pull your fender liner out by just pulling it down a little bit, over, pulling it out of the fender well here, just like that. And it should just kind of come up, and you can put it underneath your front bumper and pull it out, just like that. I don't have one on the other side, so I only have to do that for one side, but after you have all the bolts out of the bottom, and you do that, you can take your 10 mil and take your extension and put it on. And then we're gonna go ahead and go underneath here on this side. And there's gonna be one bolt right here that you have to take out. And then there's gonna be one bolt right back here where my ratchet is that you have to take out. And then you'll take out this bolt right here that bolts onto the headlight. And then do that same thing on the other side, and then I'll show you the last step.
Okay, so now we're going to use this flathead screwdriver to pull the tabs out of this. And you're just going to get it in that little crevice, and you're going to jimmy it out. Like so. So you can just pull it out and then take out the bottom one, unless your name is Belexes and you're weak.
So now we're going to take off all of the ones over here, and then the bumper will just slide off. And then after the bumper slides off, we'll be taking the headlights out to make this job easier for us.
Alright, so now we're going to wire in our turn signal to the fog lights. To make our life easier, we're going to add in this white wire right here, so that when we're finally in the car, we can put in our yellow wire. So what we're going to do is unlock these because they just locked back up. And you're going to cut it about right here. You want one shorter side and one longer side. So just snip that bad boy right up. Okay, so on your longer side you want to cut out a bigger piece of wire. And you're just gonna, oh my god, I don't think I can do it.
Alright guys, so I'm going to splice the wire. So basically, we're just going to do the twist and tape method because my soldering iron's being a wiener. So we're going to strip it back further than you usually would so that you have more to twist on. So you'll strip that one, and then you'll strip this one. And then you'll take your, either you'll take your yellow wire that is already on the harness if you don't want to take your headlights out or do anything like that, or you can take an extra wire that you have just laying around to splice onto your yellow wire and just twist up the wires and twist them together. And don't forget to add your heat shrink onto it before you put all the wires together. Then we'll twist the last wire on there. Then after you twist them, take some electrical tape, flatten out the wire, and tape them together. And then add your heat shrink over it. Take your lighter, heat up the heat shrink, let it cool down for a second, and I always like to crimp the ends so that no moisture can get in. And then this white wire now will connect to the yellow wire on the harness, but we're gonna go put these in the car and then I'll show you how to wire these up to the lights. Guys, so now that you're putting these in your car, you can take them out of the wrapping and take this protective plastic off. In my case, since it's Christmas Day and no stores are open, these are the only bolts I have, and I don't have any washers. So I'm only going to be putting one bolt in, but it's plenty for these lights because they clip in. So there's 2 poles right here that slide into the bumper and 3 clips. So whenever you put it on, you'll slide the clips on and then push those poles into their spot. It'll just kind of go into place. And then you'll know it's in once all the clips just clip in place like that. And now that it's in, usually you'd put 2 bolts, one right there and one underneath right there. But I'm only going to be putting 1 bolt in, and since these aren't pre-tapped, you're going to have to drill them in. Just get really small bolts and drill them in. And that'll hold it in place. So I will now show you what they look like installed. They look pretty cool. So now we'll go to the car, we'll show you how to wire everything up, and then we'll put the bumper back on, plug these in, and turn them on. Alright guys, so now that you've put the lights in, we're going to start wiring up the new lights. So you're going to have this long mess of wire. If you don't care about your lights coming on whenever your headlights come on, you can disregard this white wire. I'm not going to be installing this one. If you were going to be installing it, on the actual headlight, it's going to be the blue wire coming off of the harness, but not the blue wire that goes into the turn signal. It's going to be the blue and gray striped wire. That's where you'll put this white one, but I'm not doing that. So all we're concerned with is the turn signal wire, which we're going to put on this white wire that we already wired in. This ground wire, which I'm going to be attaching to the bash bar, and the power wire, which we're going to be attaching to right here where the windshield wiper fluid used to be, but mine is gone. So we're going to be wiring it into the 12-volt power going off here. So to get started, you're going to have to figure out where you want to mount these ones. So these are going to plug into your light. I'm personally going to mount mine to the bottom of this bash bar on the back side, and then I'm going to run the wires to the other one underneath this bash bar and just zip tie them to the bar all the way across. I'm not going to show you how to wire in the other side because it's basically as simple as wiring this yellow white into the white wire over there, plugging this into the other box, plugging the box into the light, which is a lot simpler than this side. You're getting all the power and ground off this side. So and just so you guys know, there is a plug over here that's not being used from the factory harness that has constant 12-volt power. It's going to be inside here, that orange wire, not this green and dark green, the light green and dark green one, the orange one. So basically all you're going to do is, mine's all zip tied together because I wasn't using the windshield wiper fluid, but basically off this harness here, I'm just gonna straight up cut mine off because I don't ever plan on putting windshield wiper fluid in my car again. But you can still use your windshield wiper fluid and install these lights at the same time off the same plug. It won't affect it. So what I'm going to do is break off this casing here. It's being a pain though. pull this wire through right here. Strip this wire back. And now I'm left with our constant 12-volt power wire. So for me, where I'm mounting mine, some people mount them farther up in the engine bay. I'm mounting mine down here. I don't need this whole long mess of wire, so I'm gonna cut it pretty short to the fuse. Then strip the wire, and I'm gonna make it a little bit longer. And then we're just gonna do the twist and tape method again. So I'm not gonna be using heat shrink on this one, just electrical tape. I'm gonna strip this one a little bit more here. And then get our power wire here and tap into our power right there and twist it really good so it never comes undone. Really well. Twist it really well so it never comes undone. And then we're just going to use some tape and tape it onto the outside of this right here. And now you have your power. So now that we have this done, you're done with this harness here. So I'm going to zip tie mine all together just to get it out of the way. And now that's all zip tied together, we can focus on mounting our ground. Now, wherever you mount the ground, you want it to be, you want no paint to be on it. And I just realized that I have a bolt right here that I can take out that you use to mount your windshield wiper fluid, that I can mount the ground to. So that's what I'm going to do instead. I'm just going to mount it to this guy right here. You want to make sure there's no paint on it, so I'm going to go ahead and grab some sandpaper real quick and I'll get back to you. Alright guys, so basically all I'm going to do is sand back all the paint right here. So that it's exposed metal. And then I need to grab my spray bottle and my rag here and just clean it off. And now that we have that exposed metal there, we can put this bolt back in with our ground attached to it. And I'm gonna angle mine that way so it just kind of flows with the line of the car, so it's easier to manage. And then grab my ratchet here, tighten it down. And then, now that we have our power and our ground, we can wire up our turn signal. So I don't need this long of wire again. I'm gonna cut this one as well, the one that we wired into the headlight. So I'm gonna cut it about right there. Give me a little bit of room. Actually, what I'm gonna do instead is run it through here first, so that it's managed a little bit better. Now that I know how much length I need, I can cut it about right there. Strip it. And then I'll cut this one about right here, just to give a little bit of extra room. Strip this yellow one. Put these two together. Same way we did the other wires. Now that these are twisted together, we can go ahead and tape it off. You want to make sure that whenever you're taping, you make it really tight, so that no water or moisture or anything can get into it. And once this is taped off, all your wiring for this side is going to be done. And we have this whole length of wire right here that goes to the box. So now what we're going to do is mount our box to the underside of here. So in order to do that, what we'll do is take some metal screws that are made to tap into metal, and I'm only going to mount mine with one. I'm going to mount it right there with one. You can mount yours with more than one, but for me, I'm just going to mount it with one. And I just realized I'm going to need a longer bit, so I'll be right back. Now I have a longer bit, so it'll be way easier to screw in. So basically now what I'm going to do is lay down underneath this bar. Yeah. Now you can mount yours anywhere you want. You don't have to mount it to the bar. Just make sure not to mount it to metal, because if you mount it to don't mount it to plastic, because if you mount it to plastic, then these will melt the plastic. So you want to mount it to something metal. Doesn't matter if it's aluminum, doesn't matter if it's steel. Just mount it to a piece of metal, not to a piece of plastic. So now that I've made my mark, I know where it's going to sit. I'm going to pull the bolt out, get it started. Come on. You know what would actually be a smart idea? Using a drill bit. So I'm gonna go grab a drill bit. Alright guys, so all my attempts have failed so far. I know I'm not ready to be a mechanic. I'm just gonna drill a pilot hole with this one. Okay, it's almost all the way through. There we go. Now this guy should go in just fine. If I could find the, oh, I'm sorry. There's the Phillips. Yep. Now he's gonna go in just fine. So that took a little bit longer than it should have, but that's okay. So now I'm gonna take it and put it through this one again. Right there. And then screw him in just like that. Okay. And now that we have one completely secure, I'm gonna zip tie the other side. So I'm just gonna put 2 big zip ties around each other. I'm gonna put 3 actually because it's a big bar. And then we can wrap it around this. And now it's not going anywhere. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut these off here. And now all you have to do is run these wires over to that side, and the way I'm going to do that is just by zip tying them like that, and then manage these wires on this side. And the way I'm going to manage mine is by just bundling them together like this, and then putting them all right there. So I'm gonna grab a zip tie, put a zip tie all the way around all of these wires, crimp them together, and then this factory harness right here, I'm gonna put a zip tie around the factory harness, pull all of the wires together, and you're gonna need 2 big zip ties because it's a giant mess of wires. So now I can pull these and zip tie all these wires up to there like that. And now they're all out of the way. This one's run through here, so it's not gonna get pulled on the tire right here. And this black one is set to ground right here, so it's all good. So now I can cut the leads off of here, just like that. And now all we have to do is run these wires over there, wire those ones up, and then plug your lights in and turn them on. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that side wired up, bring my bumper outside, plug them in. I'm not gonna put the bumper on yet. I'm just gonna turn them on, make sure everything all works, and then I'll put the bumper on and we'll see how it looks. Alright guys, so we just put the bumper back on. I'm gonna hop in the car and see how it looks.
The finished product. Light 1, check. Light 2, check. She's a beaut. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh.
Alright, so now we can actually put the bumper back on completely, and then we go take some pictures. Alright guys, it's all done. This is going to be the last part of both of the videos that I'm making for the new headlights and the new reflectors. I'm about to pull out the car it's all finished up, everything's all tightened down. So I'm gonna go start it up and pull it out. You'll see how it looks.